Yeah, I think you know, every child is got a good imagination on, or potential of having a good imagination on them, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And you know, like some people say they can't draw,
yeah.
you know, and I can't understand that. You know, I think like
Everyone can draw. It's just some people can draw better than others. It's as simple as that. Like, you know,
I think like
it's.
the people that can draw better than others are the people that have really sort of practiced more,
Oh yeah, of
or
course.
done
Yeah,
it more.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, it's like, for instance, you know, I think everyone can learn how to play the piano.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Almost everyone, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, I
Mm.
can't play piano, okay? I might be able to play a little bit with one, you know, but I know, do you know what I mean? You know, but I know that I could learn, you know, if I wanted to, do you know what I mean? You know, and I think that, you know, the imagination is a very important thing, you know, and I think like drawing
Yeah.
and, you know, that kind of art is one of the most, um, something that will grow your imagination, basically, you know,
Mm.
more than mathematics will, basically, or
Yeah.
anything else. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm.
You know, and I think like children should be, when they're younger, they should be drawing more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to make their imaginations greater, basically.
I see.
If
Yeah.
you see what I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we're all good. We can all be good artists. You know what I mean? All of us, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're you know, like if you drawed a tree,
Mm.
right? Yeah, and we both drew a tree. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I used to do this with my ex-wife sometimes. We used to get something, you know, pictures from a magazine or something, and we both used to draw it.
Yeah.
No, but like when we looked at it afterwards, it'd be completely different. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
You know, I don't think no one draws the same.
Mm.
Funny enough, do you know what I mean? It's like everyone's got a different signature, which is quite, you know, in a funny way, it's quite magical in a funny way. You know how we've all got a different way of dancing as well,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so on.
Yeah.
You know, we are kind of the same.
Mm.
You know, we wake up, we sleep, we want to be entertained.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, we are kind of the same, but we are all very different as well. You know, not one of us is the same.
Yeah.
You know, maybe identical twins can be a little bit the same, but
Mm.
even so, they're not the same. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't think, you know, not in every way anyway.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And I think that's quite magical, really, how sort of like, I mean, I love nature, you know, and I study it a bit, you know, and I look at all the different butterflies, all the different birds and all this, you know, and all the different eggs, that butterflies lay, you know, and quite remarkable how every egg, butterfly egg for instance, is very different in shape or
Yeah.
colour.
Yeah.
Well, they've got different patterns, do you know what I mean, and so on, do you
Mm.
know what I mean?
Mm.
And then when you look at, say, a lot of butterflies that are from the same, you know, same species, whatever, you know, and they've got the same patterns on their wings, even they're different a little bit, you know, each individual, they're all individual,
Yeah.
you know, and I think everything's born, you know, even like, for instance, the birds, like seagulls, say, for instance, you know, and they've got a different frequency voice,
Mm.
each one of them, you know, I think every living thing's got a different sound, for instance, you know, like an elephant's got, you know, they're quite deep, rumbling sound, where a mouse is just like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just quite incredible how every animal in this world and every bird have got a different call
Yeah.
or a different frequency, you know, from each other.
Yeah. It's true.
You know,
Yeah.
my voice is not the same as yours, you know, and
Yeah.
so on,
Mm.
you know.
Unique sound.
Yeah. You know, and I think that's very amazing how nature has made everything a little bit different.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can distinguish between what's, distinguish between what's what, you know. Yeah. And over time, man has been able to distinguish more and more sounds, if you see what I mean, through observation, through analysis, through people going out into nature and studying it and studying different forms of life and etc. They've been able to record these things, through observation and years of analysis, It all takes time, all this, you know, all this scientific, you know, exploration and etc. takes time, you know, for man to fully, you know, it's just, it's one of those things where mankind, like, you know, it's like we have this need and desire to understand everything, you know, and people, you know, we get all these people, you know, that go out into these rainforests and all these different places in the world and look for new species of different things, different animals and different bugs and different insects and different life forms, and you know, and etc. Like, you know,
I think
it's like an endless quest to fully understand everything, you know, our environment and our surroundings and our, you know.
I think on land, right, we've kind of, man today, modern man, is basically mapped the whole world out.
Oh yeah,
In great detail.
Yeah.
You know, like you look at Google Earth, do you know what I mean? It's incredible. Do you know what I mean? They learn how to, you know, I think they searched every mile.
Yeah.
On land, whether it's cold or hot.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, in the past, whatever.
Yeah.
I've lost my thought again.
Yeah. They map out the.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ocean, though, right? They're still exploring it.
They'll never fully understand the ocean. They even say today that they've only explored about 15% of the world's ocean in total.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
they say that they went down so deep one time that they ended up finding water below water, if that makes sense.
Mm.
They went so far down they ended up finding water below water, if that makes sense, if you see what I mean. Like, you know, but you know, there's so much out there in the ocean. That's why, like, the ocean is not man's domain. You know, that's how I look at it. I think Earth, you know, we're supposed to be on Earth, you know, we're not, you know, don't get me wrong, it's fun to go in the sea and, you know, have fun, go on holiday and go in the ocean and whatever, and, you know, go on a boat and jet ski and all that type of shit's nice, but the ocean isn't really our domain, if you see what I mean. You know, it's, you know, there's all sorts of predators and all sorts of shit in there that will, you know, that will try to eat you, you know, or attack you or some shit, you know what I mean, if they come across you, you know. You even, like, you go to other places, you might even have something like a manta ray or something. You know, you might be swimming somewhere and don't even know that there's manta rays in that particular place, and you get touched by the tail of one of those manta rays or something. You go into some kind of like anaphylactic shock and almost die. Some people do die, you know, just from getting a sting, you know, from one of these, you know. So the ocean's not our domain, you know.
But I mean, in this modern world,
yeah,
they do make stuff, you know, that can go deep underneath.
They do.
I mean, when they do go down in these things, right? I've actually seen them, you know, before with my own eyes. You know, these things, right? They do cost quite a lot of money to make.
They do.
Know, like millions.
Millions, yeah.
You know, and then it costs a lot of money to put someone on them and go out and explore as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think we're sort of just on the brink of exploring it a little bit more. You know, we've got this camera technology we've got today, you know, and go underneath water and all this. You know, so I think, like, but today I don't think man knows enough, do you know what I mean, about the oceans in the kind of way, you know. We still got a lot of exploring to do, basically.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, you know, the universe itself, you know, when you think about we're living on this tiny little planet here, we haven't really explored much outside, have we? You know, outside this planet anyway. You know. Yeah, it's
I don't think we'll ever fully understand though all of the oceans and stuff. Like, when I say understand, I mean I don't think we'll ever fully kind of be able to explore all of the ocean. You know, I just think there's some parts of the ocean out there where it's so deep. You know, it's you know. I remember even in the Caribbean going out on catamarans, right, mate? And sometimes you'd leave the port in Bridgetown, get on this catamaran. It's nice, don't get me wrong, it's lovely. But you'll be going out into the ocean, mate, like, you know what I mean? Because obviously it's quite a long, it's an all-day thing, if you see what I mean. So they'll take you like 3 or 4 hours one way, if you see what I mean, like in one direction, you know, and do different, you know, have food on the boat and go swimming with the turtles and all these different nice things. But sometimes when you're first going out, you live in the port and you're going out into the ocean, and then you to go round or whatever towards where you're going to go, it's like the ocean is it's black, it's dark, if you see what I mean. Like, if you see what I mean, you can't even see. It's like certain parts of it are so dark you can't even like see into it, if you see what I mean. Like that, to me that's scary. Like the fact that you can't even imagine diving into that, but you can't even see. You can't even see. It's so dark. If you see what I mean, the ocean is just black. It's so far out. It's just dark. If you see what I mean, and you can't see shit. Like it's not like when you're out in the you're out in the Caribbean somewhere, or somewhere where it's like close to the close to the sand line or whatever. You can see. You can kind of see into the water because it's so clear. So
I mean, I've been to the Blue Lagoon in Malta,
nice.
And
is that Malta?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was Iceland. No.
Well,
okay.
It might be.
Yeah.
The Blue Lagoon is Malta. Well, but anyway, the water there is so beautiful. You put your hand in there, and it's just such a beautiful blue colour,
Okay.
But then when you think about other places, it could be muddy, and really black.
Yeah.
Or oil, for instance, what does that do? Do you know what I mean? It's horrible stuff, do you know what I mean? But, you think about how scary water can, the ocean can actually be, when it's dark, it can be cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, I think we're quite lucky, we're I mean, I've got, around the UK, you've got the Atlantic Ocean mostly, do you know what I mean? And that's the most craziest ocean in the world, out of all oceans, do you know what I mean? It's always stormy, do you know what I mean? And I think, here I am, sitting on this bit of land here, with all that ocean around me, and I'm sort of basically standing on a hard bit of mud, do you know what I mean? And, thinking I'm lucky that ocean doesn't rise up a little bit more, do you know what I mean? And destroy me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how lucky we actually are, to live on a planet that we can breathe on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think, you've got to appreciate those facts.
Yeah.
And I think, like, being happy is, a lot to do with just appreciating it, really,
Appreciating life.
Yeah. And realising
making the most of it and what you've got.
Well, I know that I'm not rich, man, at all.
But we're rich in spirit.
But I feel like I've got more than most people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We're rich in spirit, mate.
Well, I feel blessed in life because I feel happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think not much upsets me anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like if I do accidentally do something wrong sometimes, like a cup might fall out of the cupboard, because whatever, and it smashed onto the floor.
Yeah.
I really seriously just smile.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just sweep it up.
Yeah.
I don't care. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't bother me anymore. Do you know what I mean? What's the point? Do you know what I mean? Of getting upset.
It's not that serious, is it?
It's not. And you got to sort of, when you make a mistake, smile about it in a kind of way,
Oh yeah. I do as well. I try to as well. Most of the time I succeed. Don't get me wrong. Every now and again, as a human being, sometimes you do naturally. Something might, it might irritate you, if you see what I mean. But you just, forget about it as soon as you can, quickly, and move on. I think sometimes it is okay to get upset, but you just, for a few minutes. It's okay for a few minutes, but then it's just okay. It's been, 5 minutes has passed. Time to move on. It is what it is. It's done now.
Yeah.
So.
You're not, like if I do drop a cup, I'm not going to include it. It's not going to fix it, are you?
No. No matter how you feel about it or whatever, it's not going to change the fact that you just dropped it and it's broken.
You just sort of like laugh at it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it, really. Just laugh at it and think, all right. Just go and buy another cup, innit?
I might need to replace that. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But so I don't really get upset much anymore. It's nothing really that upsets me.
Yeah,
that's
good.
I mean? Or,
that's good. Life's too short, isn't it, mate?
I think when I was married, there was lots of things upsetting me all the time. Like you got to try to make other people happy
all the time.
Kind of way, and it's sometimes impossible.
It's hard. Yeah.
Whatever. But like so, I don't think I did appreciate.
Yeah.
as much, you know, didn't appreciate my ex-wife as much as I should have done, I think, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, but you learn these things as you get older.
You live and learn, you know, we all
Yeah.
make mistakes and we all
Yeah.
try our best, you know. But not everyone tries their best, but I was going to say, just speaking from personal experience, you know, it's like, you know, you try your best and it's still hard, you know, so it's, you know, it's an ongoing process, you know. But I think as long as you've got two people who are like committed to each other, and like you said, there's a lot of trust and respect and loyalty and etc. there, and they're both willing to try and make it work and keep going no matter, you know, no matter how hard it gets, you know, it's important, you know.
I think what's important really in a relationship is having a laugh.
Yeah. You've got to try to be best friends with each other, you know, with your wife, like even with my wife, like I wouldn't say that me and my wife are like best friends in the way, like, you know, like the closest, you know, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it because I'm realising now too, as I'm getting older, like, that my wife is supposed to be my best friend, you know what I mean? We've been together for 11 years now, she's been by my side, we've been by each other's side for 11 years now, like, and, you know, it would be nice for us to be like best friends, if you see what I mean, to that point, you know. Don't get me wrong, we are close, but I wouldn't say we're as close as I would want us to be, if you see what I mean.
What's the best year you've had? Was it the first year or this year?
I was going to say, a lot of the years have been good, you know. You obviously get your ups and downs throughout the years here and there. You know, you might have
the first year.
You might have a few arguments a year. You might have you might have 3 or 4 arguments, let's say, in a year. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like that's not too bad. It's not too bad, but you know, like I was gonna say, the first few years are always good. I would generally say, if you see what I mean, the first. You know, and then it's up to each other. As long when the dynamic of the relationship changes, when you know if you both end up having a kids or getting engaged or getting married or moving in together or whatever, however the relationship dynamic changes, the more you both have to kind of adapt to that. If you see what I mean, because different responsibilities come with different circumstances.
Well, that's it, isn't it?
You know, so you have to learn how to adapt to your. You know, to the decisions that you both make together. You know, you've got to learn to grow together, learn how to experience stuff together, you know, learn how to accept that you're both different, you both have different things that you like, you know, you're both, you know, you might be together as a couple, but you're both still individual people, you know, and you have to respect that, you know. Respect each other's opinions, you know, don't be dismissive of each other just because you might think one thing and your wife might think something else, you know. You have to be understanding of each other's opinions and value each other's opinions and be able to listen to each other without being like, you know, judgmental or overly critical, or, you know, you have to understand that we're all different, we all think differently, we all have different perspectives, we all perceive things differently, we all understand things differently and comprehend things differently, you know. So, you know, it's, you know.
Well, it'd be good if we understood the same thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
It's really, speaking about magic, that is, because obviously tonight is about magic and miracles, it's really magical when your relationship is really like in a really good space, when you're both in a great space in your relationship and everything is lovely, it can be magical. It can be blissful, you know. Every minute you spend together with your loved one can be, you know, wonderful.
But when you think, when you first meet your loved one, yeah, you haven't got children.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you really don't know your future at all, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the first 6 months, say, do you know what I mean? You've got no children.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit of a bliss, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's quite beautiful in a kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
And you got, you know, you meet, and then after 6 months, you realise that you're getting quite serious. Do you know what I mean? And you know, you think about, you know, moving in with each other and all that kind of stuff, do you know what I mean? Then you start having children, really, you know, and then it gets a bit more complicated, a bit more harder. You've got to work harder as well, in a kind of way, you know, earn more money to feed more mouths.
Yeah, and you have less time for each other.
Yeah.
During those periods as well, you might have less time for each other, you know.
Then the arguments start coming out a bit, you know, because you're both getting frustrated because your children you're pulling their hair out, or not only that, but in the beginning stages, sometimes it can be very difficult in terms of like
like sometimes like the baby might, especially when the child's young, you know, like even with my kids, I remember when my son was young, like I think I spoke about it before, like he used to wake up so frequently in the night that it was very difficult for the first year or so, you know, it was very,
Nightmare.
when you're sleep deprived, when you're literally like living life like on like autopilot because you're so exhausted, but you just have to keep going because you don't have any other choice. You have to keep going. That's just the reality. You don't have to, drink, lots of coffee or a couple of Red Bulls or something to keep you awake and keep you focused and going. Like you have to find a way. I was going to say, especially when you're both, especially when children become involved, and if you're both working, and there's waking up in the night and all sorts of different things are going on, it can be it can be hard. It can have like a strain on some relationships, but the goal is to try to be a balanced partnership where you're both equally doing as much when it comes to looking after your children and the household. I find when things are usually balanced, then people usually tend to get along a lot better, but when things are outbalanced, and generally sometimes it becomes outbalanced in the woman's, unfortunately towards the woman, where in a lot of cases, not in all cases, because I must say today a lot of us men, a lot of us fathers are really present in our child's life just as much as the women, just as much as the mothers and the women, but once upon a time, not long ago, the women had the responsibility predominantly of looking after the children and raising the children, if you see what I mean. And that was kind of their role, if you see what I mean. So.
The women's are meant to cook. They were advertising it all in the 60s.
But that's how it was back then. Back then, obviously the world, we live in a much different world today, a much more equal world today, a lot more, both parties work, both parties have responsibilities and goals and everything that they're trying to achieve. And when you've got a relationship and you've got kids and whatever, it is a partnership. It's almost like a business partnership in a way, you're both working to financially pay for everything and to look after the household and look after your kids, and it's
like whose turn is it to do the washing up, isn't it?
That's it.
And
that's it. Yeah. But as long as you're both working together, it's not too one-sided on one way, then it usually the relationship dynamic's quite good, because they're both understanding that they're both contributing kind of equally towards their responsibilities, and one person's not feeling overwhelmed because they're doing everything, and that's usually brings problems in relationships, Sometimes in some cases, some men don't always do as much as they should, if you see what I mean, and the women start to feel frustrated because they feel like they're not getting a break either. If you see what I mean.
It could be the other way around, though. Do you know what I mean? We're
And
just all, at the end of the day, we're all people.
We're all people. It does happen the other way as well, It does happen the other way, of course, as well.
I just look at everyone, male and female, alright? Okay, females are slightly different because they've got different bodies.
No.
And what else is different about them, really? Not a lot. They can see, they do, with, for instance, children, yeah? They're a little bit different, because I think they're more motherly, and all this sort of stuff,
Yeah, much more maternal and,
I can understand they are a little bit different, but they've got eyes, they hear the same things, we are all the same, we've got different bodies a bit, do you know what I mean? But I think
I believe in miracles.
I'd say try to be.
Do you remember that song? That song?
Yeah.
So yeah, mate. Is there any final words or any closing statements in regards to magic and miracles that you kind of, you want to leave with people before we wrap it up and call it a night for this week's episode?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just try to be more happier in life, and you'll feel the magic.
That's it.
I think,
Right.
Like I say, the more happier I'm feeling this lately in life, the more magical I feel.
Yeah.
I think happiness is a very magical feeling.
It is.
Happiness is a feeling.
Yeah.
You know, you think like, you know, we spoke about it before, you know, when somebody's watching a film, you know, when an audience is watching a film, they go, ah, like that. Next minute they get scared.
Yeah.
Next minute, you know,
From their emotion
you know,
fluctuates.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, to one emotion the other. You know, and I think that people need to control their emotions, really. You know, which I think that I've really sort of learned how to do myself. You know, I expect I still got to learn a lot more.
Of course, that's what we all do.
Know.
We're all works in progress. Every single human being, no matter how much you might have mastered different aspects of your life. You know, it all takes work. It takes application. You know, it takes honesty with yourself. You know, we all know our flaws. You know, if we all sit down tonight, let's say we sat down, each and every person sat down, and when they got home from work, sat down and actually sat there for an hour and a half, and actually thought about themselves, thought about their lives, thought about the mistakes they've made in their lives. Think about, you know, if you sat down and were really honest about yourself, you would know all the things that you do wrong, all the different things that you'd want to change about your life, all the different things you want to be better at in your life, you know, like, you know, the things that you want to improve on, or, you know, no one is perfect, you know, no matter how close to perfection you might become, you know, no one will ever be fully perfect, you know, everyone's got flaws, it's one thing about human beings that kind of like, you know, it's, you know, right across the board, every human being is flawed, no, you know, no one is, you know, exempt from imperfection, you know, everyone can mess up, everyone can make a mistake, everyone can get it wrong sometimes, you know, it's, you know, no one is ever completely right about something, no one is, you know.
I think everyone, you know, most people are trying their best, aren't they?
Yeah, that's
trying to do the right thing.
I think that generally across the board, yeah, I think most people are trying to.
You know, but we, you know, we're not perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
But like, all I want to say before we leave, you know, before we call it night is, as we always say, you know, the most miraculous thing and the most magical thing is life. You know, cherish it. Just remember, it's very short. The average lifespan is usually between 75 years old and 85 years old today. Not everyone lives to 100, let's remember this. And usually 1/3 or 1/4 of that we spend asleep, as we always say. So if you're only living to 85 years old and you spend 1/3 of that asleep, over 20 years of that you were asleep.
And for us 5 years, you don't really know that you're here.
Exactly. And not only that, but you spend time doing lots of other things as well. So in reality, you haven't got much time to actually enjoy your life. So enjoy your life. If you've been blessed to have life, you know, that you made it here, you know, if you've made it, you know, and you're able to enjoy your life and you know, able to try and make the most of it, then, you know.
So my life, my personal life's not gone perfect at all, do you know what I mean?
No, I don't think anyone's has, no.
So I've been a failure, to be honest with you, know what I mean? You know, and sometimes, you know, life's not gone perfect for me, you know, nowhere near it, you know, and what, you know, now I look back, I think, I don't think anyone's life goes perfect.
No, never.
You know, but
no, even if it goes quite perfectly, it would never go 100% according to the plan. You get some people who are just, you know, life just works out. Most things do work out for them, but it never works
money
out
helps, doesn't it?
100% of the time.
You know, money helps, you know, and some people are lucky enough to be born with a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, that's already there, do you know what I mean? And a lot of people aren't in that, you know, quite as lucky as that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if you've got money, that will help your marriage.
Yeah, for sure.
And help your family, do you know what I mean? You know, it's a big thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The more money you've got, the better life you're going to have, basically, isn't it? In a kind of way, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like I say, money to me is quite magical.
Yeah.
You know, it can buy, you know, you can go almost anywhere, do you know what I mean, in the world, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you've got the money to do it.
Yeah.
Or you can just do so many things when you've got money, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
You know, where when you ain't got any money at all, life is not magical at all. You know, you can't even go to shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So, you know.
Yeah.
I think, like, say, you know, being, you know, breathing, you know, existing, You know, each day is very magical, you know.
The gift of life.
Yeah. You know, appreciating it, you know.
Yeah.
Appreciating those facts.
Yeah.
You know. And, you know, if it's raining tomorrow, for instance, you know, and it's cold and I'm getting, you know, whatever, I know it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know.
Yeah. Everything in life is temporary. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Everything, even life.
Even a smile, really.
Even
you know,
life
everything
is temporary. So
nothing lasts forever.
Nothing.
Apart from the universe.
Yeah.
That we exist in.
Essentially.
You know.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's going to last for a lot longer than me anyway.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, a lot longer than any of us.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, hope you guys have enjoyed this week's episode, of course. Thank you for tuning in once again this week. And yeah, we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of the Philosophy Podcast. Yeah.
Have a magical day.
That's it. And we believe in miracles.
Yeah.
You know? So make that shit happen. Yeah. Good night. God bless. One love.
Yeah.